Hi, welcome to New York.
Thank you.
I think there's been a little bit of a discrepancy between what John Elway said in terms of you having control over where you go and then what you indicated on Wednesday night in the press conference call. And I just wanted to know kind of why that was or why you think that is and what the story is behind it.
Okay. Well, I guess a little bit of the story was when I woke up Wednesday morning, talked to Coach Fox, and they were very gracious the whole time. Coach Fox I specifically talked to him a lot throughout the process, and so he kind of told me some of the opportunities that were out there, and then and so I talked to him about it, and next thing I know, I got a call from Mr. Tannenbaum and Coach Ryan, and they said I was a Jet. So I was really excited about that. It was, something. So I was, all right, I'm excited. When's the next flight out to New York? And I was excited about it. And then obviously the media circus happened, and I found out a few minutes later that there was a snag in the contract, and I wasn't a Jet. And so then it was like 5 hours of kind of waiting, and Coach Fox was keeping me updated on what was happening. And then later on in the day, they said, well, we have a few teams that are interested, similar deals, and so he was very gracious to ask me, what I thought, and so I talked to him, very honestly about it, and I told him I would love to be a Jet. I told him that also the Jaguars are my hometown, and whatever was best for them, and he said the same for me, and ultimately, they had my contract and they had all the power, but he listened to me and what I had to say, and it was very gracious of them because they didn't have to do that, and they could have just done whatever, but he listened to me and talked to me, and I told him I would love to be a Jet. I love the coaches. I have had an opportunity to be with Coach Sperano at the Senior Bowl. I had an opportunity to get to know Coach Ryan several times, and that was exciting for me. I also told him I would love to be a Jaguar. It was my hometown, and that would be exciting for me, and whatever was best for them. And so I'm excited to be a Jet, and I'm excited to be here.
Tim, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Everyone talks about how much of a competitor you are, and the Jets have said they're bringing you in to back up Mark Sanchez. So as a competitor, do you want to be a starter? Do you hope to be the starter?
Well, I think for everybody that puts on a uniform, you want to go out there and you want to play. That's why you play the game of football, and I'm excited to be a Jet. To go out there and to help this team any way that I can. And whatever my role is, however I can expand that role, I'm going to try to do that. And every day in practice, I'm going to go out there and compete and try to get better as a quarterback and try to figure out any ways possible to help this team any way that I can.
Tim, how are you? Welcome to New York.
Thank you.
By all accounts, people say you're a very high character, and we've heard all about that sort of thing.
It's not true.
What is it like for you to hear speculation about how you could potentially, not maybe you personally, but you're coming to New York, and maybe tension between you and Mark and the starting quarterback job, that it could stir up an already struggling locker room, maybe? What is it like to hear about that sort of thing?
Well, I really don't pay too much attention to it, but I think the exciting thing is that me and Mark have a great relationship. We have had a good relationship for the last 3 years, I think. We've been friends. We've texted back and forth. We've talked already, and we're going to have a great relationship and a great working relationship, and I think we'll have a lot of fun together.
Hey, Tim, just wondering, have you spoken with Coach Ryan about what your role with the team is going to be in terms of number of carries? He said yesterday it could be up to 20 times we're going to see the Wildcat package.
Well, I have had time to spend with Coach Ryan, and I think a lot of it has to do with how well it works, how it does in practice. Obviously, you're not going to just put something out there if it's not executed and not running well. So I think it really matters, how well we do and how well, I can pick everything up and go out there and how well we're doing. So, my goal is to go out there and try to execute as well as I possibly can and improve every single day, and really feel comfortable with my role and try to expand that role by going out there and competing and playing well. And so I think it's just exciting that he's had faith in me and he believes in me as a football player and as a person to bring me and make me a Jet, and I'm excited about the opportunity.
Hey, Tim, welcome.
Thank you.
There was a report the other day that Mark was a little confused by the Jets going after you and making the trade. from your conversations with him, whether it be on the phone or text, did you get that impression that he is angry about this? And how well do you think the two of you will eventually work together once things get going?
Well, from my conversations with him, he was excited, and he was excited about working with me, and I'm excited about working with him. I have a lot of respect for him, as a football player, as a person. He's always handled himself with so much class and integrity, and he's won a lot of games as a quarterback. And I think we'll have a great working relationship. We talked about that, and just supporting one another in our roles. And I'm excited about that opportunity, and I think we'll have a great relationship, and hopefully we'll be able to thrive together.
Tim, Rex talked yesterday about maybe you playing other positions other than quarterback. I mean, it seems to me from what I've read about you, you're pretty emphatic about quarterback being your position. Would you be open to something like that?
Well, I think first and foremost, I've always said that I'm a football player first and then a quarterback, although, that is my dream. That's what I want to be, and it's what I believe I am as a quarterback. But however I can help the team, however I can make a difference, however they can use me, I'll be open to it and work as hard as I can. Every time I step on that field, I will give my whole heart to being the best Jet that I can possibly be and trying to help this team win football games.
Hi, Tim. You were talking about speaking to Coach Fox and saying that you would be thrilled to be a Jet. Just curious, what about the Jets was appealing to you to express that you would be interested in coming here, particularly since you're coming off a season in which you were a starter, and there's obviously a starter in place here. So
I think, first and foremost, it was my relationship with the coaches. It was having football coaches that believed in you, having football coaches that saw ability in me, and having coaches that I really respected for how they coached the game, for who they were, and my relationship. I've always had a great relationship with Coach Ryan, my relationship with Coach Brano. I'm excited about working with Coach Kavanaugh. And then also you have so much support from Mr. Johnson, from Mr. Tannenbaum, and look at these facilities. They really don't get much better, and so there's a lot of pros here and not very many cons. I'm excited about that.
Hey, Tim. First, what's your thoughts on this media crush here today, this whole process? And second of all, how do you make sure that this does not become a distraction when the season rolls on and this kind of attention is brought to you?
Well, it's an honor for all you to show up to hear me say a few words today. I really don't feel like it'll be too much a distraction because I honestly will try not to pay too much attention to it. And I mean, the reason we're doing this today is because I have bosses too, and they wanted me to stand up and talk to all y'all, so I can blame it on them because they made me do it. So.
Hey, Tim, do you think that it's fair to put Mark in a position where you're the backup? You're obviously, if not the most popular player in the league, among the top, handful. To have somebody behind him with that type of popularity, perhaps having the fans clamor for you if he struggles, is that fair to put him in that position?
Yeah, I think Mark is very secure as a football player and as a person and who he is, and I don't think he's going to let outsiders affect how he goes about his preparation or how he plays. And I think I'm excited about my role here too, and my opportunity to compete. And I think working together, we'll be able to encourage one another and be stronger together than we would be apart.
Tim, how much better of a passer do you think that you can be, and do you think that the criticism that you faced about that aspect of your game has been fair?
Well, I think that I'm improving every single day. I've been working very hard in LA with Coach Mazzoni, who is a former Jet coach, and working extremely hard to improve in every area of my game. And I'm excited about my future and just improving as a quarterback, as a football player, understanding defenses, understanding the schemes, how we go about it, how we take advantage of defenses, reads, reactions, fundamentals, all those things. And I'm excited about the opportunity, and I'm excited about my future.
Tim, you mentioned that you know Mark for 3 years. I'm wondering where that relationship stems from and how it evolved over the years.
Gosh, when was the first time we met? I think it might have been at the ESPYs one year, a few years ago, and then we've just I know we had to do one appearance at a Super Bowl a few years ago together where we were throwing to fans and other people, and so we had a good time with that. We had to do a question and answer at one of those Super Bowl appearances as well, where we got to hang out backstage for a while and then go out and have to answer some questions. But we've always had a great relationship every time we've been together and hung out, and he's a very classy person with a lot of integrity, and he's also fun to hang around. So I think our quarterback room will be a lot of fun.
Hi, Tim. How much pressure are you feeling from all of this? Not the media, the fact that your role is a little bit up in the air about what you might do. There's sort of opportunities out there that Rex Ryan is saying. With all these expectations, everything that's out in the internet and out in the media, how much pressure are you feeling at this point?
None, actually. I don't really feel too much pressure. Just enjoying this opportunity, how exciting it is. I'm excited to be a Jet, and I got a long way to go before OTAs or training camp, so just continue to prepare and just continue to try to improve. And I'm sure there'll be some pressure leading up to it, but I've always enjoyed pressure, and I've always, before every time I get up and give a speech, before every practice, before every football game I play, I always get a little bit nervous, and that's something that excites me. And I think that's something that I play better when I have more on the line, and that's something that I've always tried to thrive on. And when that feeling goes away, that'll probably be the time when I stop playing football. So I'm excited about just the support that we have as a Jet, the fans, how passionate they are. I've been very blessed in my past to have passionate fans. When I was at the University of Florida, Gator Nation is very powerful, and it's everywhere. So that was a lot of fun. And then being a Bronco, they have extremely passionate fans, which I was very blessed to have support me. And now being a Jet, it's awesome because you have so many fans that support us as Jets, and they're so passionate. And I realized that when we played the Jets last year, and we were playing them at our home field, and they had a lot of fans there, and they were cheering pretty loud, and that was exciting to see. And now being a Jet, I'm extremely looking forward to our first game to see what the atmosphere is really like.
Tim, what excuse me, what has Coach Ryan told you about how he's going to use you, and what was your relationship with him until a few days ago?
Well, my relationship with him has always been great, and we've continued to build a relationship throughout the last few years. And just in our conversations, he actually has the same agent I have, and Jimmy Sexton. And I'm trying to remember the first place we met. I think it might have been at a pro day or something like that where we met. But then I know we spent some time together at the Super Bowl this year, and we got to have a great conversation there. And I've always watched him. I got to see Hard Knocks and see how he coached, and that was fun. And from our conversations that we've had the last few days, I think he's just excited that I'm here, and I think it's a day-by-day process to see what happens and how well whatever the Wildcat is working. And well, I think it's a day-by-day process, and figuring out what works and how I can fit into this team and try to make this team a little bit better. And that's my goal is, by being on this team, I'll be a great teammate, hopefully a good asset, and someone that can help us try to win a few football games.
Take two more from local and then open up to everyone.
Tim, there's a feeling that defenses in the NFL have caught up to the Wildcat a little bit. As someone that's going to be a big part of it here, do you still feel that it can be a viable option, particularly with how much the Jets anticipate using you?
Well, yeah, I think one misconception is people think that the Wildcat is just a direct snap to a running back and you fake it and you run power or outside zone or inside zone. And I think that's a big misconception, because I think when you have the ability to have 11 people touch the ball on, or not 11 people, but you have 5-6 people that have the opportunity to touch the ball on every single play, then I think it can be confusing. I think it can make defenses play slow. And I think when you have a great offensive coordinator like Coach Sparano that can put together packages and plays and not necessarily have tendencies, then I think it can be effective.
Jim, the Jets have been accused of or criticized for making this trade for non-football reasons. Even Joe Namath went on the radio and called it a publicity stunt. I'm wondering, do you take offense to that, or do you find it insulting as it relates to your abilities as a football player?
I really don't take offense to that, and I don't think it's true because I think the Jets get a lot of support as it is, and they have a lot of great fans, and so I don't think it has much to do with that. I think it has more to do with just some coaches believing in me and hopefully thinking that I'm an okay football player, and I'm just excited that I have the opportunity to be a Jet, and hopefully I can add something to this great franchise and organization.
Hey, so much has been said about you and your faith and all the attention that you're receiving. In fact, some have been saying that the reason why you receive so much attention like today is because of your faith. If that in fact is the case, how do you feel about that? Are you okay with that?
Well, obviously I'm someone that's very outspoken about my faith, and I've never been ashamed of it, and I always, anytime I get the opportunity, I always thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because that is the most important thing to me. But I don't think all the attention is just because of my faith. I think sometimes it adds a little bit to it. I'm pretty sure I'm not the first athlete that has gotten on a knee and prayed, but somehow it's known as Tebowing, and I'm not sure why. And I think it's just, I don't know, probably had to do a little bit with the hype, but I think it's not all a bad thing. If people are still somehow talking about prayer or talking about my faith, then I think that's pretty cool.
Hey, Tim, in talking with Mark Sanchez, what were some of the advice he gave you about dealing with New York, playing in New York, so on and so forth?
He did say, get ready for y'all. No, he just said, it was just fun. We got a great relationship, and he just said we're going to have a lot of fun together. It'll be fun working together. And, just you spend so much time watching film in the QB room that I think it's so important to have people in there that you like, that you can get along with, that you can joke around with, that you can make fun of and have a great time. And so I think just as far as that goes, we'll have a great relationship. And then also you'll have McElroy in there as well, Alabama guy, so that'll be tough. But it should be okay.
Tim, you're known for your charity work. You have your own foundation. You just came this weekend from an event in Alabama. Are you planning to establish a foundation or a group here in New Jersey? In Denver you did it, and you have a couple of other organizations outside the country, but are you looking to do it here in New Jersey? Where have you thought about it? What did the team think about that?
Well, absolutely. I'm looking forward to doing things here in New Jersey and in New York, and figuring out a way to just try to make a difference and try to help. And my foundation is something that is extremely important to me, and it's something that I'm very proud of. And I'm so proud of the 650 orphans that we support, or the 18 Timmy's playrooms that we're building, or the hospital in the Philippines that we're building, because ultimately I know that that's more important than anything I do on a football field, is the ability to brighten a kid's day, or the ability to make someone smile, or the ability, because we're put on a pedestal as a football player, which makes us no more important or no more special than anybody else. But you have an opportunity, and I believe more than that, it's a responsibility to be a good role model, to set a good example, and to make a difference in kids' lives, especially the kids that are looking up to you because you play football. And I can still remember when I was 8 years old, and Danny Werfel came to my church as a Florida Gators quarterback, and I waited. I was probably the 120th kid in line, and I waited an hour, but he signed all the autographs and waited till I got to him. And I still remember how that made me feel as a little boy, and I still have that autograph in my parents' house in Jacksonville, Florida, because I remember how it made me feel. And so, so many times we can get so busy and so caught up in the hustle and bustle and forget about being a role model and forget about setting a good example and making a difference in people's lives that are looking up to us. And ultimately, I know that that is my biggest goal, and being here and being a football player is to set a great example, and I'm excited about this opportunity.
Tim, a lot of athletes can't handle New York. What equips you to deal with the demands, the challenges, and the circus that may come to town?
I feel like, being at the University of Florida, you have a pretty big platform there, and then just, being a quarterback for 2 years in the NFL gives you a pretty big platform. But ultimately, I'm just going to be myself and just have fun with it, and honestly not worry about what I can't control. That's something I learned early on at Florida is if you can't control it, don't worry about it. And, honestly, I'm just going to try to be the best teammate, try to be the best football player that I can be, and try to set a good example. And besides that, I'm really not going to worry about too much else.
Hey, Tim, back to trade day.
What's up, Mr. Hicken?
How are you?
Good.
Did you ultimately, did you feel as wanted by the Jaguars, or was it just the Jets were a better fit for you right now?
Well, I can tell you this. I had a better relationship with the Jets coaches. I knew them. I know that Coach Malarkey and the coaches they have are great coaches, but I've never met any of them. I haven't had an opportunity to get to know them, and I'm sure it would have been exciting. It would have been fun to be home, but this is exciting, and I'm so proud to be a Jet. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it would have been fun to hang out with you a little bit more, but this will be. This is a blessing for me, and it's going to be a great opportunity.
Tim, right here. Hi. If you will, two-part question. Number one, obviously New York is a huge market. Your faith is very important to you. Was the thought of being able to spread it in the New York market a big deal? That's number one. And number two, how about spreading your faith within the locker room, and do you do that very carefully?
Well, I think, first and foremost, it doesn't matter what market I was in. I don't think that necessarily played a big part in it. I think any market, I just want to be myself. And when I'm asked about it, I won't be ashamed of saying that, I serve my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And in the locker room, it's not something that I'm super outspoken about. It's just that's who I am and that's how I live. And, I don't try to share it with a lot of guys. I don't try to, approach a lot of guys with it. Because I think the greatest way to share the gospel is by acting it and by them seeing who you are as a person. And that's how I approach it. It's not by what I say, but it's more about how I act and who I am as a person. And I think that's the greatest way that you can have an impact on people's lives is by who you are and your integrity, your character, and how you go about handling yourself.
Tim, most of us will have absolutely no idea what it would have been like to be in your shoes last year. Even our greatest athletes, many of them have not gone through a year like you had last year, where people outside the world of sports were talking about you and not just your football playing. As you were going through the whole process, did you learn anything else about yourself?
Oh, that's a very good question. I learned, I think I learned a lot of things about myself. I think what also came to mind was that you can't worry about what you can't control. That was something that was reemphasized, and I think also something is you can't worry about sometimes how people can take something so little and make it very big. As far as like Tebowing goes, I've been doing that same routine for the last 7 years since my senior year of high school, and all of a sudden this last year it became a big deal that I was going to the end zone and getting on a knee before the game and praying, and then I'll get up, I'll do a few jumps, and I'll sprint down the sideline. And it's funny because all of a sudden it became a big story, but it's something that I've done the last 7 years. And I think for me, it's not about changing anything. It's not about being anyone different. It's about being who I am and who I've always been, and just trying to be the same person and continuing to work hard, continuing to treat people like I want to be treated, continue to do what's right and do my best. And other than that, I really won't worry about too much else.
Tim, you've always obviously been described as a team-first guy, but when one of your sponsors puts an ad above the Lincoln Tunnel, are you concerned that the perception is that the individual is being elevated above the team?
I don't think so. I mean, hopefully they know that I have nothing to do with that, and I don't think that'll really have an effect on people in the locker room because, there's not much I can do to control that.
Tim, for all the talk about your religion, I haven't really heard you really say exactly what it is that you believe. If you wouldn't mind talking to us a little bit about your core beliefs and also some of the social hot-button topics that we hear politicians talk about, religious leaders talk about, you haven't said a whole lot about. Is there a reason for that?
Not really. One, we're at a press conference for a football team, so it's not exactly the platform to get up here and share everything you believe, but I have no problems ever sharing what I believe, and I'm a Christian, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and that is first and foremost the most important thing in my life, and for me it's about having a relationship with Christ, and that's pretty much it. That's the basis of what I believe, and and it's exciting for me to get opportunities to share that, but at the same time, this is a press conference for the New York Jets football team, and so I feel like it's an opportunity to answer questions about my opportunity to be here as a Jet, and I'm excited about that. And anytime I get an opportunity, I'm always going to talk about Jesus Christ and what He's done in my life, but this is also here to talk about the Jets. So.
We have time for a couple more, so if you have a cash that you're not going to get in, we'll take you next.
Hey, Tim. Hey, Tim. Over here. Hey, there's a lot of personalities in the Jets locker room, a lot of veterans. You are a young guy, and you haven't had a lot of success last year in the NFL, but not a career's worth of success. Do you feel like you have pressure to win over the locker room, so to speak, and show guys who you are and what you can do?
Well, I don't think I'm necessarily trying to win over the locker room. I'm just trying to, every day in my actions, just try to earn a little bit of respect from the guys in that locker room. By showing up and working hard and trying to be a great teammate and trying to improve on my skills, trying to make the Jets a little bit better because I'm on this team. And whether that's by on the field or being a great teammate or encouraging other guys, I just want to make this team a little bit better because I'm here and earn their respect a little bit at a time by how I work and who I am as a person.
Tim, what conversations have you had with your marketing partners coming to New York or your people as far as Jockey and Ian mentioned the Lincoln Tunnel, FRS, those guys? I mean, I assume being closer to Madison Avenue makes them a little bit more psyched.
I guess. Honestly, I really haven't talked to anyone about that. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind, and for the most part, I was traded, I wasn't traded, I was back at Jet, and then I was on a plane here, and then my whole time here has just been meeting with the coaches, getting to know them, and so that's pretty much getting all the physicals, getting the paperwork, all that stuff done, and that's pretty much what I've been doing. So I haven't had too much time to talk to any of them, but I guess they are pretty excited. So.
Tim, you beat the Jets last year as a member of the Broncos. How good do you think this Jets team can be this year? And now that you're here, how far do you think the team can go?
Well, I think I'm blessed to be on a very good football team. A great defense, a great offensive line, great skilled athletes, and it was a great game when we played each other last year. And I'm excited to be on a football team that's a tough football team, that's a physical football team, and a football team that has won a lot of games over the last few years. And hopefully by me being here, we can be a little bit better, and I can add something to this team, and that is my hope and prayer. And I'm excited to be on this football team and excited to have the support that we have, and it truly is a blessing to be on this team and to be on a team that has won so many football games and is, when you watch the New York Jets play, you see a team that is physical, that wants to win, and that's exciting. It's always a lot of fun to be on the tough team and the physical team, and I believe that's what you have when you're on the New York Jets.
Tim, you in no small part saved the Broncos season from what looked like a 3-4 win football season, got them to the second round of the playoffs. After your trade, I don't know if you heard, Pat Robertson said you were treated shabbily by the Broncos, suggested that if Peyton Manning got hurt, it would serve them right. And that opinion is shared by thousands of Tebow fans and Bronco fans. Do you understand the frustration and the anger people have with how you were seemingly cast off after saving that season and allowing them to acquire Peyton Manning?
Well, it was a special season last year that I was able to be part of, just a little bit of, and with some great teammates, some great coaches, and we'll have a lot of great memories for a long time from last season of some of the comebacks and some of the wins, and beating the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs, and those will always be part of my football career and special memories. But they went in a way that they thought was best for the organization, and I'll never blame them for that. I'm excited about being a Jet and excited about the support that I have here, and I wish the Broncos nothing but the best. They got one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game in Peyton Manning, and he's always been extremely classy and very supportive of me, and I wish him nothing but the best. And there's no ill will towards the Broncos, the coaching staff, or Peyton Manning or anybody. I wish them nothing but the best, and it'd be a lot of fun when we get to play each other. But I wish them nothing but the best, and I know they're going to have a great team, and they're going to win a lot of games this next season. And I'll always have a lot of friends on that team, and I'm always going to root for those guys because we went through a lot together, and it'll be exciting to watch and see how they do. But I'm worried about being a Jet, and I'm excited about being a Jet, and this is where I want to be.
Tim, a lot of Giants fans have been having some fun with this, saying it's another example of the Jets being very good at winning the off-season publicity bowl, not so good at Super Bowls. Wonder if you have a message for those less than kind Giants fans.
Not really. I think I'll leave all that talk to other people. I'm not qualified to get in that argument. I'm just excited to be here, and you have to congratulate the Giants on winning a Super Bowl and having a great team, and I wish them nothing but the best as well.
Tim, there's been many reports out there in the last few days that have been negative in nature, where anonymous teammates have come out and suggested that this press conference is silly for a backup quarterback, and no one has put a name to it, but stating that you're more of a gimmick. How do you deal with that in a locker room where there might be some division?
Honestly, it really doesn't bother me at all. I think it's my job to come in here and try to earn guys' respect by how I work, and I want them to respect me by me coming in here working hard and prove myself in the weight room, in sprints, when we're running, in the practice field, and I can't control doing this press conference. You can blame the guys upstairs. They wanted me to do it, so I have no say over that at all either. And I'm just having fun with it and make the best of whatever situation that I'm dealt. And I'm so honored to be here, and it's such a blessing for me. I'm excited about getting to know those teammates and building a relationship. And I have been able to get to know quite a few of them already, and I'm excited about it. And it truly is an honor to be a Jet. I'm so grateful to be here.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you all. God bless.